Hi guys. So I just read an article that another young man named Mason Bogart from the Indianapolis area has passed away from the Pass Out Challenge that is still going around on social media. I had previously put together a little video talking about that challenge and that game and the history of it, and did share that it did affect our family personally. And when my son was in 8th grade, he had a good friend of his who passed away from doing that regularly. And unfortunately, she did it one time too many and no one was there. And she passed away. It pisses me off that this is still going on, and it frustrates me to know how many people don't realize that people are doing this. Children as young as 8 have died from doing this, and this challenge is still showing up on social media all over the place. Like I said, Mason just passed away last week. So now I'm going to go ahead and insert the video that I made talking about the choking game and what it can do to you, talking about how it affected our family. And then after that, you're going to see Mason's honor walk. His family and the hospital staff lined the halls as they wheeled him down the hallway for the last time to go to surgery to donate organs to save 6 people's lives simply because he took part in this challenge. I beg you, if you see this challenge, if you see this bullshit anywhere on social media, I want you to report it. I want you to have it taken down. I want you to start shit, because this has to stop. This is something that's so simple to stop if you just talk about it. Talk to your kids, talk to your family members, talk to everybody you possibly can. Lots of people don't know that this even exists, and it's existed for a long time, and it obviously is still continuing to go on. We need to make sure that there are no other young people like Mason who have to take honor walk to donate organs because they took part in this dumb ass internet challenge. Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the choking game. It's referred to by many different names, and recently you may have seen it on YouTube or on your local news talking about the Pass Out Challenge being spread around YouTube and other social media sites. My son had a classmate who passed away from playing this game in 2010, and I still find it important to share this information with as many people as possible, because I am often surprised how many people don't know about it. And I'm only surprised because when this young woman passed away, I had no clue that things like this existed. So I want to take this opportunity to educate you, and I would like you to pay it forward and educate someone else. So what exactly is the choking game? The choking game, also known as the Good Kids High, is defined as strangulation, either alone or assisted, meaning in a group with a friend helping them, with the hands or a noose to achieve a brief euphoric state caused by lack of oxygen traveling to the brain. So what these kids do is basically choke themselves to the point of passing out, or right prior to passing out, they let go and gain a brief moment of euphoria. More than 75% of children between the ages of 9 and 16 know how to play the choking game. They've either playing it now or have played it in the past. Studies suggest that hundreds of kids have died since 2001. Most are well-behaved and successful children ages 11 to 17. I've actually read a couple stories of kids as young as 8. So it's never too soon to make sure that you as a parent or a guardian or a professional of any sort working with children to understand that this is out there, children are doing it, and get that information to who it needs to get to. And shockingly, only 25% of parents have heard of the game, and only 7% of victims' parents knew of the game before losing their child. Mostly boys and girls between the ages of 9 to 16 nationwide and around the world are playing the choking game. These adolescents are generally high achieving in academics, activity, and sports, and don't want to risk getting caught with drugs or alcohol. The practice is taught through word of mouth and through the internet. Most recently, we've had the Pass Out Challenge show up on YouTube. So it's my personal request to you, if you see a video that is promoting that challenge, I would like you to report it to YouTube so that it can be taken down immediately and save someone's life. By one name or another, the choking game has been going on for well over 20 years, but the most recent use of bonding, like ropes or belts, and the growing practice of playing alone have increased its deadliness dramatically. It's estimated as many as 250 to 1,000 young people die in the United States each year playing some variant of the choking game. But it's difficult to track statistics because many of these cases are reported as suicides. Having an open conversation about the choking game or pass out challenge with the people in your life, just like you would about sex or drugs or alcohol, is key to keeping them safe and avoiding this practice. Teach them how to say no. Tell them to use humor. Say things like, "No, I need all the brain cells I've got." Encourage them to give reasons. Tell them to imply that, "No, this is stupid and it can kill you. I don't want to play." Encourage these children to just walk away. Tell them if the kids ask you to do it, just leave. Give them an understanding that there's strength in numbers. Encourage them to hang out with people who do not play this game or engage in this activity. Encourage them to avoid this situation. Tell them if they know people who are doing it, do not hang out with them. There are other things you can do with your time. If you or anyone you know is engaging in this practice, I encourage you to stop now. If you can't stop on your own, please ask for help. If you know someone who is doing it, tell them to stop and ask any responsible adult for help. Even smart, strong kids can make dumb choices with deadly consequences. Some kids, like Eric, the young man you see here in the bottom right, tried it only once. They didn't know they were gambling with their lives. The plan is to release pressure at just the right time before passing out. If they pass out first, the weight of their body pulls on the ropes and they can die. There's also the chance of seizures, stroke, or injuries from a fall. Playing the game in any form causes the permanent death of a large number of brain cells. Within 3 minutes without oxygen to the brain, a person will suffer noticeable brain damage. Between 4 and 5 minutes, a person will die. Some of those kids who died were alone for as little as 15 minutes before someone found them, and it was already too late. Also, the rush they're getting can be very addictive. Many times the choking game starts off as a social activity, but adolescents end up doing it alone, which is even more dangerous. Nobody's around to help them in the event they should pass out. Many people talk openly about the choking game, since they aren't breaking any laws. Dozens of seemingly playful slang terms have been used to describe the practice, and parents and guardians must be able to identify when children are discussing the game. The terms on this list, marked with an asterisk, are particularly popular. On this list you see here, there's 29 different names, and this is just from one website. If you go to different sites, you see other names that other parents and adults have figured out refers to the choking game or the pass out challenge. Some of the most popular names include America Dreaming, Blackout, Purple Dragon, Sleeping Game, Sleeper Hold, and Space Monkey. If you or someone you know is participating in the choking game, be proactive and warn them about this activity. They often don't know it can kill them or leave them brain damaged. Supervise them closely and check that siblings and even their friends are also not involved. Dispose of items that could be used for the purpose of playing the game. Alert school officials so that they can monitor the situation. Often other students may be participating. Consider alerting their friends, parents as well. If you feel strongly that your child may be doing this, seek professional counseling and support for your child and your family. Some signs to look out for include any suspicious mark on the side of the neck, sometimes hidden by a turtleneck, scarf, or permanently turned up collar. Look for changes in personality, such as overtly aggressive or agitated. Look for any kind of strap, rope, or belt lying around the or near the child for no clear reason, and any attempts to elude those questions about those objects. Monitor for headaches, sometimes excruciatingly bad ones, loss of concentration, or a flushed face. Look for bloodshot eyes or any other noticeable sign of eye stress. Listen for a thud in the bedroom or against the wall. This could mean a fall in cases of solitary practice. Pay attention if they start asking any questions about the effects, sensations, or dangers of strangulation. On the picture you see here, there are 58 victims of the choking game. One of these is a young woman who went to school with my oldest son. She passed away on June 25th of 2010. Ironically enough, myself and my children were on the way to my in-laws to go swimming for the day, and we passed an ambulance going into their subdivision. At that time, we didn't realize anything was wrong. And later that evening, we figured out what had happened. Initially, her family had thought she had died of suicide. There was speculation of foul play at one time. They were looking for any sort of answers as they could not understand. The only reason why they were alerted that she actually died from the choking game is that a good friend of hers came forward and admitted to what they were doing. Otherwise, her parents would have no idea what had caused her death other than a seemingly suicide. So it's very important that you look at the people in your life and understand that this affects everyone, every race, every age, all sorts of different types of people. It happens everywhere. It doesn't cost anything. They're not getting caught with anything illegal. So it's very important that you take this information provided to you today and use it, pay it forward, make sure somebody is educated, and save someone else's life. In the description below, I'm going to leave links to a ton of information about this. You can get information on different people's stories and understand how their child became involved in the game, and some parents knew about it and some parents didn't. So it's important that we get this information to everybody we possibly can. One site does have a link to a support system that is working with the DARE program to get the choking game or the pass out challenge added to the DARE program that you often see in schools. So I think that is something that would be fantastic to do. So you'll find the resources on various pages, but definitely in the links below in the description that will make sure that you get your name to let people know you want this included in the DARE program. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and educate yourself about the choking game or the pass out challenge. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video, and maybe together we can save a life. Have a great day.
John. Could everyone please pause for a moment of silence?
The word that best describes Mason is extraordinary. Mason had a smile that was infectious. He had a kind of generosity that is rarely seen in kids or adults. Always the protector, Mason would fiercely defend the ones he loved. Mason never met a stranger and found happiness helping others. Mason was carefree and loved being outdoors. His favorite place was by a body of water with a fishing pole in his hand. Mason was always adventurous. You couldn't help but to cringe as you turned around when Mason would say, "Hey, look what I found in the woods." Mason was afraid of nothing, and it wasn't uncommon to see him carrying a snapping turtle or some semi-dangerous creature from the woods. Mason also loved to work with his hands. Mason's workbench was his happy place. If he wasn't taking apart something that was hopefully not needed anymore, he was making things for loved ones. Mason also loved trivia and could talk about the most obscure things for hours. Mason had a kind of patriotism that could bring a tear to the eye of a five-star general. He would make sure that if the American flag hit the ground, it was disposed of properly. If he saw a veteran, he would remove his hat, walk over, shake their hand, and thank them for their service.
Mason could always see the beauty within. This is how his dog Scooby came to be in their lives. When everyone else walked by this fairly unattractive dog at the shelter, Mason knew he was the one. Mason loved his Scooby. Mason was Mason. If you knew Mason, you would understand that there really is no one single word in the English language that describes how amazing Mason was. We know in our hearts that all of these wonderful things that made him the way he was will live on through others. He was bigger than life, and this world wasn't big enough for him. He always lived life on the edge. We are so very proud of our hero. This room becomes sacred when a family entrusts us with one of their most precious possessions. Mason is dear to them and a hero. We honor Mason by conducting ourselves as though the family were present. We treat Mason with respect and dignity above all else.
Be a hero, buddy. Good job, bud.
Good job, buddy. I love you.
I'm not going to leave us.
Good job, Mason.